on Newton's Apple.
We just keep running till the earth falls away from our feet.
Oh, girl, this is great!
How is that possible?
All right, bring in the animal.
This is great, right here in the warehouse.
I know, can you imagine that?
Newton's Apple is made possible by a grant from 3M, the company where creative people find ways to make our world even better. 3M, innovation. Welcome to Newton's Apple, the show that answers your questions about science, nature, technology, and the world around you. Here's your host, David Heil.
As you can see, we're about to kick off a whole new season, answering even more of your letters. And the very first story of the season begins with a question from Henry Labanta of San Rafael, California, who writes, I've always been fascinated watching hang gliders fly through the air. How do gliders fly without engines? This is going to keep you in the air?
Sure, no problem.
You know, usually I'm the one that gets to do these life-threatening kinds of stories. I've jumped out of an airplane. I've climbed sheer cliffs. I've even rolled over in a stunt car. So this is one story I'm just sure our field reporter Peggy Knapp would love to do.
My favorite dreams have always been flying dreams. Imagine the feeling, soaring high on the air currents with only the eagles as companions. Now I want to make that dream a reality, which is why I've almost decided to try hang gliding. You see, I've always wanted to fly like a bird, but not if it means jumping off a cliff.
I need to know the science of flying. I need to know the science of not crashing. I need a physicist. Yeah, like one's gonna fall out of the sky.
But one did. Elon Crow, professor of aerodynamics from Stanford University. What are the odds?
Elon, there's a noticeable absence of a motor on this. What keeps them in the air?
Well, they are in fact coming down if there weren't any wind. This kind of flying is a kind of controlled falling. They're coming down at...
How much falling?
Well, maybe something on the order of 2 miles an hour in steady state with no wind.
Well, that's not so bad.
Flying a hang glider is kind of like throwing a huge paper airplane and not letting go. You see, air has mass, and if the glider's wings hit that air at the right angle with enough speed, they'll ride on top of the air in a downward path to the ground. So the motor of a hang glider is gravity.
What keeps it in the air is a combination of lift, which keeps it from falling, from accelerating toward the ground.
Good.
And gravity, which keeps it moving forward. Modern hang gliders can go down 1 foot for every about 13 feet they go forward, and this is a measure of their efficiency.
This 13-to-1 ratio for hang gliders is also called its lift-to-drag ratio, and the higher the ratio, the farther it will glide, but first you have to get airborne. Now just for comparison, at 350 tons, a Boeing 747 needs an airspeed of 180 miles per hour to get off the ground. A hang glider with its pilot only weighs between 200 and 280 pounds and takes off at about 20 miles per hour. But that's still faster than I can run, so how do I get off the ground?
The key idea is to balance the aerodynamic forces, and you don't need to solve any equations to do this. You just need to be moving with respect to the air at a certain speed. For hang gliders, it's about 20 to 25 miles an hour. So that means either you have to run at 20 miles an hour, or you have to have 10 miles an hour of wind and run at 10 miles an hour, which is pretty easy to do.
The wind changes everything for a hang glider. Since the glider descends at about 2 miles per hour, all you need to do is find wind moving upward at 2 miles per hour to stay in the air, which is the whole point. Finding lift is a cat and mouse game that pilots love to play. And there was one more question I just had to ask.
Just out of curiosity, how safe is hang gliding?
Well, safety is certainly a concern in any kind of aviation, and many different steps are taken to make hang gliders as safe as possible. Over the years, there's been a great deal of testing, both structural testing and aerodynamic testing, And certainly for beginners, we start out not by jumping off a cliff, but on a bunny hill with training wheels.
Hey, I'm okay with this, really. Flying close to Mother Earth is just fine with me. But before I could fly, I had to assemble my aircraft, which a good pilot can do in about 15 minutes.
Meet Mr. Glider.
My teacher is Rebecca Lance, certified instructor and registered nurse. I think a good combination. And on tactical support is Pat Denovan of Mission Soaring Center in Milpitas, California. Together, hopefully, they can get me off the ground.
Now, before you launch a glider, there's one very important thing you have to do, so we're going to run through that. It is very important that when you launch that you be attached to the glider.
Well,
the glider,
yeah.
the glider will fly just fine without you, but you're not going to fly so good without it.
Securely fastened to the frame, I'm free to swing in any direction. This is why they call it hang gliding.
Hang check.
Hang check.
Once in the air, the pilot steers by positioning her body's center of mass below the glider. Swing to the left, the glider turns to the left. Pull your body forward, it speeds up and dives.
Keep the wings level, take a step or two, keep the nose down, and run.
They say you have to walk before you can run, and run before you can fly. And believe me, I was doing a lot more running than flying.
Okay.
Clearly, this wasn't working. But with just a little more wind, a bigger glider to catch that wind, and a lighter touch on my part, it finally happened.
Beautiful.
I'm flying! How come I'm doing that?
This is getting cooler and cooler.
I had a taste of it now. I just had to fly. Really fly. But how?
Hey, Peggy, I'll pick you up.
Of course, flying tandem. The woman in the big pink glider is Kari Castle, certified tandem instructor and the women's world record holder for long-distance flight. I am in good hands.
So what's going to happen is you're going to be standing next to me, and you're going to put your left hand here and your right hand on this little handle.
Yeah.
Okay? When we start running, it doesn't matter which foot you start with, it doesn't matter. The main thing is when I say clear, which is our signal to run, is that we both move at the same time together. Basically, we're doing a bit of a dance, and as long as you dance with me and move with me as a unit, we're going to be flying away beautifully.
I take it you're leading.
I lead the dance,
Okay.
yes. And then we pick the glider up.
Yep.
Okay, everything feels really good. I'm excited.
Okay, the wind is
Okay, the
blowing
wind
perfect.
is absolutely perfect. And I say, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Okay, and our wing people, I say, get away from my wing. Okay, I got it. Clear. And we run.
And then we just keep running.
And we just keep running till the earth falls away from our feet and we are flying. Yeehaw.
Hey.
Ooh, we're gonna have fun.
When Kari felt I was ready, we got into position on the ridge, 1,900 feet above the valley below. Then we waited for the wind.
Okay, that feels pretty good. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you sure?
I'm ready.
Okay, clear.
My heart was in my throat as fast as the ground fell away from my feet. All I could do was hang there and leave the flying to Kari. Then came the time for me to open my harness and get into my flying position. Did I mention that Kari's harness has a parachute?
Get it? Oh, there she goes.
Oh, girl, this is great.
Almost immediately, Kari started looking for lift. When she finds it, her variometer beeps, telling us we're going higher.
Today, on a day like today, we're hitting only thermal lift. And what thermals are little, you felt that little bubble. It's little warm bubbles of air going up.
Thermals are like invisible hot air balloons. During the day, the rocks below us absorb the sun's energy and warm the air above, which rises up in a column. When pilots find thermals, they circle like hawks to stay inside. When the air felt pretty stable, Kari let me take the controls. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. You're doing it, honey. My hands are free. You're flying.
I'm flying.
Woo! See, no hands.
Ah! Eat your heart out.
Let's go that way. Turn it to the left.
Then, sadly, it was time to land.
Okay, go ahead and get upright.
So feet out.
Feet out.
Hang gliders are the only aircraft that land like birds, and it's a pretty neat trick.
You're upright.
Just before landing, the pilot pushes forward on the control bar and sharply increases the glider's angle of attack. The wing collides with a mass of air, slowing the glider and dropping the pilot on his feet. If it's done right, it's a thing of beauty.
Okay, get your feet ready. Get ready, and stop. No worries.
No worries.